Hi, good afternoon. I hope you guys are keeping well. Today we are starting a new topic. This is on page number 32, two stories about flying. There are two stories. One is his first flight by Liam O'Flaherty, and the second one is Black Aeroplane by Frederick Forstyle. So it says that before we read, since the earliest times, before I start with the topic, I just want you to guys to write something about this going pandemic that you and I are excuse me fallen and what is your opinion about COVID-19 as a pandemic, and how has it impacted you as an individual? There are two schools of thought about this pandemic. Some people prefer to remain in isolation, and the other group says I think they have had enough. People are jobless. There's no money. There's no food in the house. People are starving. So it has I think it has impacted the entire economic structure of the world globally. So please write about it in 150 to 200 words and submit it by 7th of June. So since the earliest times, humans have dreamt of conquering the skies. As we have already dreamt of flying. There are fiction movies where we can see that people were trying to fly in a flying ship, in balloons. Here are two stories about flying, and we'll get a better picture about it. I think as human beings, we are always fascinated when we see a bird flying in the air. A young seagull is afraid to fly. So seagull is a bird. It's a seabird. How does he conquer his fear? You have to conquer your fear. It's almost like comparing yourself when you learn first to drive. And when the moment you overcome your fear of that you'll crush someone, you'll bang something, that is the time when you start loving driving. In the same way, you have a fear of human beings have a fear of flying, and this is a story about the seagull, the baby seagull. So the young seagull was lost on his ledge. Ledge is a narrow horizontal shelf projecting from a water wall or a cliff. You have seen, if you can take a look on page number 33, it's an elevated area, on plateaus, you should say. So the seagull was sitting alone on that ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. So this is a family, one sister and two other brothers. So they are four, and the other two brothers and sister, they have already flown. Fly past tense, flown. And the seagull, this little seagull, is still trying to fly, learning to fly, and so it's sitting there. He had been afraid to fly with them. The baby, this one fourth seagull was afraid to fly with his siblings. And somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. Even there's a warm up session. Even if you have, when you travel in an aircraft, you see that the aircraft takes a very long run on the runway before it starts flying. That's a warming up, gearing up. In the same way, the seagull had also tried to run before it can take the leap, the jump in the air, and then it will start flying by flapping its feathers and balancing his body weight. But somehow he could not. The moment he used to run, and the moment he was supposed to fly on the edge of the ledge, he would become afraid and stop. You have to overcome your fear. It's just, and the seagull is just a baby. The great expanse of sea, and what was beyond the ledge, beyond that rock plateau? Endless sea. So maybe the sight of the sea uh, created a very negative impact in the seeker's mind. The great expanse, length of the sea stretched down beneath, and when he would look down, he could see sea and water everywhere. And it was such a long way down, miles down, and it was a very, 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 very long dive. The seagull had to dive down and then fly on top over the sea. He felt certain that his wings would never support him, and the seagull started thinking that what will happen if I fly? Maybe my wings will never support. Maybe my wings will break. Maybe I'm so tiny that the force of the wind will break my wings, and I will not be able to balance my weight, and I will die. Negative thoughts. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. He bent his head and he went back in the hole and slept alone. Even when each of his brothers and little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings,